Greetings from Bali to our global community. I want to offer a couple of practices that are especially relevant in this particular moment in time. Um, some of you live in areas where this virus outbreak is strong, some of you don't. And I think a lot of you are staying level-headed, not freaking out. You realize that freaking out doesn't help, and that there's very likely nothing to freak out about. Yet, at the same time, I just want to offer a couple of practices that can be very, very helpful. So, the first one is that, given that it's a good idea for most people, especially people who live in urban areas and people who live around lots of other people, it's a good idea to wash your hands a lot more than you are perhaps accustomed to doing. So the practice I want to offer is that every time you wash your hands, maybe it's 10 times a day, maybe it's 20, you're also washing your mind. And there's a very specific way to do this. First, you're going to pick a mantra that takes about 25 seconds to recite, which is the recommended amount of time to wash your hands. But the key is, that attitude is what matters. Bhava, or mental emotional attitude, is what matters here. So I think a lot of people are washing their hands more often, but doing it anxiously with a feeling of like, oh my God, I'm not safe. And that feeling itself, that cultivating the attitude that you're not safe and that everything's scary, that actually depresses the immune system. That's not what you want. What you want is an attitude of quiet confidence. Of course, there's always a risk, but life is a risk. Everything's a risk. Stepping out of your house every day is a risk, and we're just kind of inured to those risks, so we don't see that they're there. So what I want to invite is that you, instead of kind of being anxious around this, that you actually relax into trusting life. That doesn't mean that you could have any way of knowing that you're not going to get sick or whatever, but trusting life. It knows what it's doing. Everything's going to be fine. So the way you do this is while you're washing your hands and doing your mantra, that you're relaxing into that little shred of trust that you can access, that little shred of quiet confidence, if it is a little shred. Perhaps it's more than that. Perhaps it's a deep reservoir of trust and quiet confidence. Depends where you're at with this. But basically, for example, the mantra I like to use lately for hand washing, because it fits perfectly in the 25 seconds, it goes, Jaya Jaya Shiva Shambho, Jaya Jaya Shiva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho, Mahadeva Shambho. And there you go. That's about 25 seconds. And the point is, I wasn't just washing my hands, I was washing my mind by relaxing into the mantra, by letting my awareness become enveloped, embraced by the power of the mantra, relaxing into my natural state of quiet confidence and deep trust in the unfolding of life. So that's what I recommend. If you're going to be washing your hands 10 or 20 times a day, which is a great idea, why not wash your mind at the same time? Right? And of course, you can do more japa than that, but this is just a great practice to start getting in the habit of. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, practice. This is an antidote to fear, this practice. I hope this video is working well and you guys can all hear me. This is an antidote to fear, which can be very effective. And we could call it, it doesn't exactly have a name, but we could call it simply relaxing into the back body. So for this, it's great to be sitting in a chair or a couch or a beanbag, so that you're supported, your back body is really supported. Now it's okay to be just sitting on the floor as well. As long as you can relax into the back body. For many people it's easier if the back body is supported. So what you do in this practice, and you can try it right now, is you breathe a little deeper, a little longer, a little slower. And with each breath, and perhaps it's on the exhale, whatever makes more sense for you, but with each breath, you are relaxing into the back body more. And what you're actually doing is settling your prana into the back body. So if you imagine, you know, that your prana is almost like liquid, it's not, but just metaphorically, it's like that liquid, that water, that nectar is settling into the back half of the body, right? Like if you were lying on a bed, all the prana, you could let the prana settle into the back half of the body, right? However it makes sense for you to visualize it or sense it, right? The really important thing is with each breath, you're allowing the prana, the life force energy, to settle into the back body. So this is a very distinct, different feeling from when the prana is all in the front body and even in front of the body, outside the body. That is a state associated with anxiety and arousal in the not so good sense of that word. So again, taking some deeper, longer, slower breaths, and really with a gentle relaxation of the musculature and willing the prana to relax and settle into the back half of the body, the dorsal half. And of course, as always, relax the jaw as well. And let the center point of your awareness be the back of the base of the heart. It's sometimes called the cave of the heart in Sanskrit. Settling the center point of self, or the center point of awareness, into the back of the base of the heart, even as you let all your prana settle into the back body. And then notice how everything seems a bit different. Notice that this is an antidote to fear or anxiety. When the prana is truly settled in the back half of the body and the center point of awareness is settled in the back of the base of the heart, the cave of the heart, then you feel, oh, maybe everything is going to be okay. Yes, there are challenges, but maybe that's okay. And maybe I can weather the storm. And it's sort of like the feeling of getting into the eye of the hurricane, as it were. The eye of the hurricane is the most peaceful place in the storm. You can't make the storm go away, but you can find your way to the center. So I hope this practice is beneficial for you, both of these practices, and I do recommend doing them every day. Om.